On the new Mercedes C-Class Electric, if you press the Mercedes badge on the front, you can open the front boot. Look, it's quite large. Question is though, is it large enough for a suitcase? Well, let's find out. It appears that it is. The car gets a panoramic glass roof with special digital dimming. So if I press that button there, dims it out. I can actually give it a motif. And then I can change the colour of little Mercedes stars which are embedded in the roof. So look, I'll have them in blue, or maybe I'll go for green. Nice. The reversing camera is hidden underneath the Mercedes badge, so when you put it in reverse it pops out, and then when you drive away again it disappears. It's clever. But is the rest of the new C-Class Electric just as smart? Well, that's what I'm going to find out, but there's a problem. I'm in Finland at Helsinki Airport, and I only have 4 hours with this car before I've got to be back here for a flight home. Now, I've got to take this car to a special testing centre to learn all about it. I'm going to try and performance test it. I'm going to see how good its range really is, and I'm going to see if this car is really as good as Mercedes claims. I'm Matt Watson, you're watching CarWow, and we better get moving. The first thing I'm going to do is reset the trip computer. They're done, so that I can get the overall energy consumption of this car during my test drive and work out the estimated real life range of the new C-Class EV. Now, first thing I'm going to do is head to a testing centre. It's about 30 minutes away, where you can try various features of this car. Let's go. We've done about 20 minutes. I've got to say, this is very quiet, this car. It's also super comfy. Because it's fitted with the optional air suspension. The thing is, people in Britain, they're not going to spec that. I'm sure the normal springs are fine, but this air suspension makes it feel like an S-Class. Not a mini S-Class, an actual S-Class. It's so good. Just feels expensive to drive. What's going on here? I don't know, which way am I going? Where's it? I don't know, what? Is this even right? Where's my signs? That was the wrong thing. Look at this. Oh, arse. They've got too clever with this blooming sat-nav now. Too much information, Mercedes. But this map is freaking too hard to follow. We've had another development. I've cocked up again. This is mainly my fault. We should have gone like left and gone down that way, but I went across at a junction. I blame the signs again. The signage on here isn't quite big enough telling me which way to go, and as a result I'm having to do this stupid detour. It's added more distance, more time, and time is seriously running out. After all those detours, we've finally arrived here. I bet someone from Mercedes tries to drag us out the car. They usually do that. What I want to do though first is find out what our efficiency has been while we've been cruising along at motorway speeds. We're consuming we're doing 16.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Let's try and work that into a format that I know. 3.77 miles per kilowatt hour. That's significantly better than the 3 miles per kilowatt hour I managed when I reviewed the new electric GLC, and that's really interesting because these two cars are basically identical underneath. So this shows a cutaway of the car's powertrain. Now here at the front you've got a small synchronous electric motor, so it's powerful yet small. It has over 200 horsepower, but it only ever drives the front wheels when you need some performance. Most of the time, if you look in here, you'll see it's got this gear system here which will decouple the motor when you're just cruising along, so you don't get the drag of the motor. Now this particular car, as you can see, look, it's got the air suspension, the adaptive air suspension, which is optional. Moving down the side, you'll see the big battery pack, 94 kilowatt hours, and Mercedes have done this thing here where they've separated out like all the control units here from the battery. Now, whenever an electric car fails, it's not usually the battery cells themselves, it's the control units. And it doesn't happen often, but if it does, that's the problem. That's why Mercedes have separated them, so if that goes wrong, it's easier to fix. Now we come to the back, and here we have the main motor, does most of the driving. It's got 400 horsepower, this has. And it's got a 2-speed gearbox. This is the gearbox there, which is good for away from the line acceleration, but also efficient when you're cruising. Now combined, total system output is 489 horsepower. You'll also notice here, if you come around here, look, see this unit? That is the optional rear axle steering. It can turn the rear wheels at 4.5 degrees, and that helps make the car more agile. But we need to find out just how agile it is by
driving it quite quickly.
I've been very impressed with how this car drives when you're just cruising along on the highway. But Mercedes says that they're very proud of how it actually handles a twisty road. But I'm not convinced, you see, because it's a 2.5 ton car. It can't possibly be that good. And what I'm going to do now is have a rip of it round this little handling circuit. It's about 2 kilometers long. It's as wide as a country road, and it should allow me to test the dynamics of this car safely. Let's do it. So this is Gina.
Hello.
She's my racing instructor. She's going to lead me out, make sure I don't go astray. But Gina, there's something weird, right? Like normally you have radios to talk from car to car when we're doing this sort of thing. What's going on here?
Yeah, we're having a Teams call right now, which I think is the best way to show what this is capable for.
So you're going to be giving me directions on my driving.
Yes.
From the driver's seat, and I'll be able to see you.
So important for you now, when we're standing, you can see the camera rolling, you can see what I'm doing while I'm driving. But once we start rolling, this display will be switched off. You will still hear me, but you cannot see me.
Oh, okay. I can see the little camera there. If you look here, you can see the camera just in there. So yeah, you can use it for business meetings or just chatting with your mates on video call from car to car. Go on then, let's do this.
All right.
Okay, here we go. It's quite hard to catch Gina. She's going a bit quickly. Now you can feel it push if you go a little bit too quick into a turn, but it's way more agile than you'd imagine. The brake pedal doesn't feel that progressive. On the road it did, but here it feels quite, in the sports mode at least, quite firm. Blimey Gina, slow down, crazy lady. It's very good for what is essentially just, you know, a cruisy commuter car. Now a lot of people won't spec the air suspension, but I really would. It does a great job at keeping the handling nice and tidy. Whee! It's really balanced, really easy. And that brake pedal feel, honestly, quite surprising. Just considering most of the braking is in fact regen braking. What I'm going to do now is a slalom. Let's see how the car performs. See if it stays nice and flat. Oh no, hit one of the guys. Does stay flat and it's quite responsive. That rear axle steering, you can feel it just turning the car in. So what I'm going to do now, I've had a thrash round here and been impressed with the car. I wouldn't say it's particularly good fun and playful, but it's very, very capable, secure, confidence inspiring and quite quick. Now though, I'm going to flip into comfort mode and just see what it's like when you're just cruising about, like most people will when they're driving this kind of car. And you know what? This is how I drive it. Doesn't lean too much, even in comfort mode. It's a nice chilled drive and the air suspension deals nicely with the bumps. Yeah, just floaty, nicey nice. That's technical journalism lingo, by the way. I'm going to try the slalom in comfort mode. Ready, here we go. Yeah, you do notice the difference quite markedly between sport and comfort, but I was driving quite quickly there. You're not going to be doing that on a road. Most of the time, comfort is going to do the job, and it's better to have that added waft in the car because it just feels like more luxurious and more Mercedes. But if you want to be a bit more sporty, it will do that. But I just don't think it has like that full element of sportiness that you might have from some other cars. You know, it's still a safe, well-balanced EV. Let me just try the turning circle. So this rear axle steering means that the car turns in about 11.2 meters, which is a whole meter less than if you don't have rear axle steering. It's very maneuverable. Do you know what though? Following behind Gina, there's something I've noticed that I really like about the car and something I don't, and it's all to do with the design. I quite like the rear end of this, the way you have the little Mercedes 3-point star in the tail lights. I especially liked it in that blue colour rather than this white. This being the AMG line, it has a sportier rear bumper than the standard sport model. Moving down the side, alloy wheels aren't overly sized. They range from 19 up to 20s. Now this particular car has this black pack. What would be chrome is dark black. The AMG line also has extended sort of sporty side skirts as well over the standard sport model. And at the front, the sport has a different lower bumper, which doesn't look anywhere near as nice as this more aggressive AMG line version. There you have like these big air vents, and those vents are real. Now, that brings us onto the grille. Yeah, it might be showy off here and look good at night when it's illuminated, but I just don't think it looks great. Really doesn't. And if you have the sport model with the chrome rather than the black, it looks terrible. Look at that. Oh my God, what have you done, Mercedes? It's a shame because I do like the headlights, once again with the three-pointed star, which matches that on the centre of the grille. But the interior of this car is dominated by this huge screen. It's massive. If you don't like screens, you're not going to like it. If you do, you're going to think this car feels very high-tech. Be warned though, if you have the entry-level model, these screens are actually broken up with a bit of bezel in between them. It's not continuous like in this range-topping version. In terms of the graphics, they're colourful. The system is responsive, but there are lots and lots of menus to dig into. And if you need to control the climate, then it is through the screen. There's no actual physical buttons to do it here, which is annoying. Tell you what's also annoying, the steering wheel buttons, which are touch sensitive and clicky at the same time, so you get a bit confused, especially when you're trying to change all the different menus through the digital driver's display, of which there are many, and then you can do the menus for the heads-up display if you've got that fitted to the car as well. In terms of quality, yep, so bits of it feel really nice, like solid and Mercedes-y. Yeah, that feels nicely damped as well. However, there's bits that feel cheap. The door handles, like some child's plastic toy. What is that all about? Yet they've spent money on the window switches. They are nice. Once again, this button that you press to open up the central cubby feels very, very cheap. The leather on this, lovely. Now let's move on to the storage. So decent storage in there. You've got two cup holders there with little grippers, so they'll hold even smaller bottles. You've got your wireless charging pads there, which are cooled. And underneath here, you have some more storage and a strap for tying down your bag and some USB-Cs. Your glove box is here, but it's quite small. The seats are comfy, and you can adjust the headrest like this. I quite like that. Good. And you have some decent sized door bins there which go back quite a way. And here in the front it feels like quite a large, spacious car. But does that ring true in the back seats? This electric version of the C-Class has a 9cm longer wheelbase than the internal combustion engine version. As a result, we have more knee room. Knee room is good. There's a decent amount of foot space as well. The issue is headroom. So this glass roof does mean you have plenty of headroom there, but if you're sitting back, you don't have so much headroom there. I think people over 6 foot might struggle a little bit. Another thing I'm noticing is that because you've got the batteries underneath the floor, there's not quite so much under thigh support because your knees are quite raised up, as you can see. It's not uncomfortable because the seats themselves are very nice. I'm also surprised there's not a completely flat floor. There's this hump here. Why? It's an electric car. Surely you should have a completely flat floor. But there's enough space in the footwells, so it'll be okay-ish for carrying 3 people in the back at once, I imagine. Fitting the child seat should be easy because these ISOFIX anchor points are dead easy to get to. Look at that, love all that. I also love this, look, come on, you can do it. Through loading, so we've got 40, 40, 20 split rear seats, and this. No cup holders there, Mercedes keeping it real with your phone holder. I don't know why you're going to put your phone in that. You're not going to be able to see it from that angle, but those are your cup holders, and look, it's got a friendly face. Door bins here in the back are good, and that soft touch material down there. They haven't cheaped out here in the back. Apart from maybe, no, Mercedes, you let yourself down again. Look what's with that. And once again, I'm going to be touching it because I'm going to be plugging in my phone to charge it there, and I'll be feeling that cheap plastic. Shame, because otherwise it feels quite luxurious. Then it should do. It's expensive. It's a Mercedes. But there's one thing that really bugs me. Look at this. This is probably the worst that I've seen on any car. That's as far as the windows go down in the back. I need to crack on with the boot. The C-Class Electric has a large boot. Its capacity is 470 litres, which is big for this kind of car. And of course, look, if you press these buttons here, you can fold down the rear seats. There you go. And let's do the other one. Yeah, look, nice. Another thing you need to know, towing. You can actually tow with this. You can tow 1.8 tonnes. Compare that to a Tesla Model 3, that can only tow 1 tonne. But there is a reason why you might prefer the Tesla. So this Mercedes is rather expensive. It starts at just under £58,000 and rises to over £70,000. And here's the comparison prices for the Tesla Model 3. Right, we've got to find somewhere to launch this car where it's safe, but it's got to be nearby because the plane will be taking off in just over an hour. And we're going to get to the airport. Ready for this? I reckon we just do it here, my friend. Ready, here we go. Launch control. It's pulling. What did it read? 387. 3.87 seconds, and it fell dead. Wow. Actually, when you floor it, the pickup's pretty brutal. Yeah, it's fast. There is another performance stat you need to know about this car, and it's its charging. If you can find a charger quick enough, it will charge at over 300 kilowatts. That means you can have 200 miles of claimed range in just 10 minutes.
But that's not the only way to recharge this car. It's also supposed to use intelligent regen braking to automatically recover energy by slowing you down before you actually need to brake. But for some reason, it didn't seem to be working.
If you're coming to a car in front or supposedly to a junction, it should apply regen braking to slow you down. I was rattling up that hill there at quite a lick, thinking it was going to engage, and it just didn't. And I do have it. Look, it says auto. Look, D auto, 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 auto. It should be doing it. It just didn't at all. Like at this junction, look, if I lift off, Garni, you're gonna look. We're just gonna go straight across.
I was fast running out of time before my flight was due to leave, but I had to get to the bottom of this, so I dashed back to the testing centre to ask some Mercedes engineers what the heck was going on.
When I was driving the car in auto, the auto regen, if I get too close to a car in front, it slows me down automatically.
Exactly.
I was expecting it to do it for junctions.
I'm not so sure. I think we should cross-check it.
We've got some more Germans involved.
Marcus from Mercedes explained that the system uses satellite navigation data to automatically regen brake before tight corners and at roundabouts, and it uses the cameras to slow down if there's traffic ahead. But it's actually up to you to brake before turning off a main road onto a side road. As fun as that sounds, I really had to get a move on if I stood any chance of getting on my flight. But at least the drive back to the airport gave me a chance to test what Marcus had said.
Oh, look, 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 look. So, because I'm entering a 50, it's applying auto regen braking to slow me down to the speed limit. I think we might have doubted the Germans too soon. Now it's up to 80 again. That was a weird speed limit drop. Now personally, I don't mind the look of this screen, but I do find it quite distracting, especially if you've got the passenger screen on, which my cameraman has. Look, you can see him there. It's Miguel. The driver monitoring system should see if I'm looking at that screen and getting distracted, and then it shuts down. It does, but it's able to tell if I'm looking across at the side mirror, and then it won't turn it off. So I'm looking at the side mirror and it hasn't turned it off. Right, the car is slowing. Look at this now. I'm going to be turning right in 400 meters. Is the car going to slow? It does seem to be, is it? I can't tell. It knows I'm turning right. It's not slowing. Is it this? Didn't slow. Right, brilliant. Marcus! Let's see if it slows for a junction. Oh, it's doing it for this junction. Look, 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 look. It's got the sign and it's slowing. You can feel it, can't you, Miguel?
Yeah.
It did the job. Now, which way am I bloody going? This is all upside down. Look, what's going on with the sat nav? Panic.
Wait, to your right.
Oh, I've got big arrows on my head to display. So Marcus was not lying. I apologise, Marcus, for being an absolute tool bag. Should never have doubted Mercedes. Shame on me.
A few moments later.
Plane is going to take off very soon. We need to wrap this up really quickly. So 16.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometre. That's where we've ended up. 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. Now multiply that by 94. 347.8 miles. About 350 miles on a full charge, which is about 100 miles down on what Mercedes claim. It's not great, is it? Shame, because this car is lovely to drive. There's lots I like about it. Like the interior design is okay, apart from the massive big screen, of course, and some of the tech's clever, and it handles surprisingly well. It's fast too, though it is rather expensive. Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? I really need to drive it in the UK to be sure, but for now I'm saying shortlist it. Right, we need to wrap this up and go, 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 go.